Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Gale. As you can see, I'm missing my beautiful and mighty partner, Jennifer. Jennifer's under the weather today, so I will be going solo, and we'll start off the service with I'm Opening Up in Sweet Surrender. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening.
Practitioner for today. It's so amazing how God works through Kristen. The talk titles and affirmations were made months in advance, and yet we arrive today in perfect time with the perfect affirmation. I breathe mindfully that I may intend, speak, and act as a spiritual maverick, doing what is mine to do, manifesting a world that works for everyone. Again, I breathe mindfully that I may intend, speak, and act as a spiritual maverick, doing what is mine to do, manifesting a world that works for everyone. Greetings! Welcome to my outdoor sanctuary. It is my honor and my joy to be practitioner of today. My name is Kathleen Benjamin, and I'm a licensed practitioner with Centers for Spiritual Living. Here in the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, we are actively co-creating a world that evolves through the power of service, prayer, and play, a world that works for everyone. We celebrate all paths that lead to the recognition of the divine. We honor shamanism as a path of the inward journey and soul travel. We honor Hinduism as a path recognizing the divine in each person. We honor Judaism as a path of law. We honor Taoism as a path recognizing the perfect order and balance of the universe. We honor Buddhism as a path of compassion and peace. We honor Christianity as a path of love and forgiveness. We honor Islam as a path of constant prayer. We honor Baha'i as a path recognizing the oneness of all religion. We honor New Thought as a path of healing and the power of the mind. We honor you and what brought you here today. So just join me as we take this time to turn within for this invocation. How grateful I am for this moment of God, this moment of truth, this moment where we can stop and turn within, knowing the power and presence of God that is everywhere. We know that there is no place where it is not. We know that God is everywhere present. God is the Alpha, the Omega, Mother Earth, Father Sky. We take this time to lean into this unified field of awareness and stand in the truth of who we are, God, God, all God. I stand in and as this moment as the presence of God, as my life. And I know that if this is true for you, that at this moment, your life is the life of God, God unfolding as this very moment. And so I call forth a mighty blessing, knowing that we are prepared and available for the blessing that is coming forth as this message today through Reverend Kristen, knowing that it is, and she is, a vehicle of God. And so we know that it falls on fertile ears. And we are grateful in advance for this inspiration. And so moving forth into this day, into this time, I'd like to end this invocation in the breath, in the face of George Floyd, in the face of those of us who would like to wear a mask or not, in the face of COVID. We still recognize the truth of this moment. And so the amen of this invocation is a song. The breath of God is breathing me, and resting in the breath of God, I know that all is well. The joy of God is joy in me, resting in the joy of God, I know that all is well. The peace of God is peace in me, resting in the peace of God, I know that all is well. Join with me. Use this when you need it. The breath of God is breathing me, and resting in the breath of God, I know that all is well. I know that all is well. And so it is.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved and set me free. I once was lost, now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious dear that grace appeared, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come safe thus far, and grace will bring me home. The Lord has promised good to me, His word my hope secure. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. We've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Good morning, everybody. This is Reverend Kristen, the spiritual director here at the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. Today is Sunday, June 7th, 2020, and I am coming to you from my home office. As you know, we're still in what we're calling around the center panda time, the pandemic, and so we are not meeting together in one room. So besides the pandemic and all the craziness of 2020, one of the things that's been shocking and sad and brings some hope, for me at least, is unfortunately the protests that are going on in America and actually now in 3 continents. But I wanted to read a letter that was put out by Centers for Spiritual Living, so our home organization, from the Spiritually Motivated Social Engagement Committee, and it states our stand on racism. Here we go. Centers for Spiritual Living calls for it to end. We are grieving lives that ought not have been lost. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery are the most recent in a list of countless unarmed African American and Black people who have been murdered for the color of their skin over the past 400 years in the United States. Too many generations have suffered, and it has never been and is not now acceptable. We denounce racism in all its forms, the starkness of unapologetic, intentional racism, the racism of silence in the face of injustice, the systematic racism inherent in our education, justice, income, and opportunity inequity, and the racism that lies hidden in our own individual hearts and minds. We envision a world where personal property joins the social conscious in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors. We value the community-wide climate of safety that arises from compassion, justice, mutual respect, and kindness. Therefore, we join our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, who, echoing the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said, "You and I should form the habit of taking definite time each day to contemplate and affirm peace with justice. For there is no peace possible without justice, but faith without works is dead. We should not only pray, we should act, each contributing the best they have to the common purpose, each willing to make any sacrifice necessary, for there can be no individual self-preservation without the preservation of all." We call upon ourselves and faith communities in the United States to take action that shows we have heard the cry of the suffering, that we own our responsibility for it. whether the action is prayer, donations to organizations that promote racial justice, rigorous self-education, or active engagement, let not this moment in history pass unattended. May the actions we take be steeped in peace and respect for the sacredness of each life, knowing that whatever we do, individually and collectively, must be divinely directed from a higher consciousness. When we apply our proven spiritual principles through this rigorous practices and compassionate actions, the desired results cannot fail to demonstrate. That quote in there was from Ernest Holmes, was found in the Essential Ernest Holmes, edited by Jesse Jennings. So when I first started out in this teaching, it seemed as though we just wanted everybody to be happy. We all just want to have a good life and feel good, etc. And it was kind of glossed over, or I felt it was glossed over, the actual work on a global level. Yes, I can work on myself spiritually, and yes, when I am whole, or when I feel that I'm whole and I recognize the divine that lives in me and works through me, that amazing things can happen. But it was always at an individual level. I heal myself, and then therefore it's a world that works for everyone. And it has been so sad to watch my friends, my Black friends, my African American friends, people that I know that are biracial, that this is like a boiling pot that has just oozed over, and the racism is so blatant and in our face that, and now with cameras and people speaking up and calling people on their actions and demanding people to take responsibility for their actions, that's when change can happen. And I've listened to a lot of people say, well, you know, the protesters are rioters. Well, they've actually proven now that it's two separate groups of people. So we have people that are standing up and saying no more. And what I know is that inherently racism is so ingrained into our society that it is calling us to action, regardless of what color your skin is, calling us to action to dismantle it and understand that it's even there. You know, one of the things that I was reading last week was, you know, somebody said something and somebody said, well, that's not the way you say it. And there's almost a fear out there that if I speak up, I might say something wrong and be ridiculed. And I am willing to take that leap, for if I say something that is not correct, yes, I would like somebody to school me on that, but not take it that, you know, I'm doing something to harm this movement or to harm another human being. So let's free ourselves of the fear of speaking up, the fear of stepping in, the fear of understanding how, you know, how I am racist and I don't even recognize it. So there are plenty of books to read. There are movies. So if you're more of a visual, there's a movie called 13th. There's also The Hate U Give. There's a whole long list. Multiple books, White Fragility, Me and, what's it called? Me and White Supremacy. So if that word, and I'm going to say white supremacy, makes you twitch and makes you think of, I don't know, the KKK, please know that that is only a teeny tiny piece of what white supremacy is. We all have, those of us that are white, we have white supremacy. We are that. So to open our eyes and open our hearts and open our minds to expand what we know and see the effect that the cells of my body, what was ingrained in me, how that might be affecting another human being. Yeah. We'll post, there's something going around 75 ways to get involved. So again, just like the letter said, whether you're actively protesting or only purchasing from Black-owned companies or restaurants, whatever you choose, how you choose to get involved, please get involved. Educate yourself and, reach out and, if you're interested, we can put a small group together to talk about these things. So like Kathleen said, these talk titles were done, at the end of last year. They work on them all year long. So this month is Mindfulness for Mavericks. And Mavericks, I'm like, oh, what's a maverick? I do much better like with a ninja, but a maverick is unorthodox, unconventional, or a nonconformist, which sort of feels like, us religious scientists, we don't want to conform. And that whole conforming thing, as we come together, non-conforming, we're actually conforming. It's kind of interesting. I'll explore that later in my own mind. But the actor Alan Rickman, and I know most from Harry Potter, he says, maverick is a word which appeals to me more than misfit. Maverick is active and misfit is passive. Yeah, so we're more mavericks. We are spiritually grounded and we are ready to share what we know with everyone on the planet. So that's the monthly theme, Mindfulness for Mavericks, but the talk title for this week is Just Breathe. And at first I was uncomfortable with it just because, listening to somebody say, I can't breathe, and then losing their life, it seems a little soon to talk about it. However, breathing is life. It is what we do unconsciously to keep ourselves alive. And through our inhale and exhale. And most of the time we don't even recognize we're doing it. We just do it. But in order for us, and it's a tool and it's a story I've shared for a long time, is to, whenever I'm unsettled, or whenever I've had a child that's unsettled, it's like, stop. Let's take a breath. Let's take a conscious breath together and breathe. So let's take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And another one, a deep breath in and blow it all the way out. And just that simple act brings you back, or brings me back to the present moment. And I can catch my breath. I can catch my balance and become back into the present and mindful of what I'm going to say, or what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to be. That is our job, to be mindful, to make sure that what we say and what we do is out of kindness and respect. So breathing helps us in those moments where you might want to say something that could come off hurtful, to take that moment and take a breath. If there's anxiety and you're overridden in anxiety, to stop your movement and take 3 breaths. It's a life changer. So Ernest Holmes said on Science of Mind textbook 414.3, only when we put our very best into our spiritual work will it satisfy us. A spiritual power is released through true thinking and is as much a law as a chemical affinity. There is no deliverance of the real self without mental conviction. To have faith in God is to follow this faith through by having faith in the self. The real self is God, and as such, it is implicitly trusted. The spark which burns at the center of our soul is caught from the living and eternal flame of spirit. So again, we're going back to spirit. It always leads back to the center of who we are, spirit, and what I believe and my spiritual conviction. So if I believe in peace and love, if I believe in those qualities of God, and I do believe in them, to remember those qualities, it helps if I do my spiritual practice. It helps if I do my spiritual practice. So breathing is a sign of life. And I said, like if you're feeling anxious, it's also a sign of being out of balance. So now we've taken a breath and we're in balance. And the best thing right now that you can do for another human being is just listen. Listen with your ears. Listen to every single word they're saying. Don't try to create the masterful, most beautiful sentence back to them that is going to heal everything. No, just listen. Just listen. Breathe. Hold that balance for another human being and listen. Okay, it doesn't sound like it's much, but it is the biggest gift you can give anyone, is to listen. And then at the end say, I hear you. I hear you. I see you. And I love you. You're not here to fix it. You're here to be and show up as a spiritual maverick. Next, we pray. We're good at it. We know it works. Spiritual mind treatment, 5 steps. We pray and then we move our feet. Just like Ernest Holmes says, I treat and then I move my feet. That's where the maverick comes in. That's where the active piece comes in. I state what I know the truth to be, and then I stand up and go into action to do my piece. My piece in this case today, we're talking about racism. What is mine to do in this thing called racism? It might be to write a letter to my local government. It might be to call out something. You know, this past week, the Ventura County VC Emergency put out 2 flyers. And the first flyer is of white people with faces, and it had something to do with skis. So there were like people go skiing. And what they were doing was showing a snow ski as staying 6 feet apart from somebody else. So that's what this poster was trying to convey, is the safety measures that are in place. Then there was a second poster that was made for the Hispanic community. And the Hispanic community posters, the people had no faces. They were, their skin was brown, but they had no facial features. And instead of a snow ski, which some of the commentary I've been reading is because white people have the money to go skiing, instead of using a ski, they used baskets of fruit, like field workers. And, you know, you have 3 baskets of fruit, and that is the same as a snow ski. Well, someone who wasn't Hispanic stood up and said, "Oh my gosh, look at this. This is horrible. Like, who put these together?" And these posters were meant to teach our community. And this inherent racism or this white supremacy of pushing people down is showing up in posters. And it went through a whole committee and nobody caught it. Nobody caught it. So in that example, somebody who, you know, you receive something in the mail and you're like, this is racist. Call it out. Call it out. That's how we change things. So that's the treat, move your feet. And lastly, learn. I'm in this 28-day program of unpacking my racism. And there are lots of books out there, like I said, and we'll post them up on our website so you have a document to turn to. But whether it's movies or books or listening to somebody speak, essays, there are so many things out there that can either take you 10 minutes to learn, a 10-minute video, or, you know, a 28-day program. But the reality is, after 10 minutes or 28 days, just like it's not over, it's a daily practice. It is something that we need to work every single day. Kind of on our path to the enlightenment, you know, it's the journey, not ending up at the, you know, oh my gosh, today I'm enlightened. It's part of my path work as a human being to step out and engage and continue to do my work for a world that works for everyone. Because that is, at the end of the day, I have a beautiful life and I want everyone to have a beautiful life, period. By you having a beautiful life, it doesn't take away from anything of me having a beautiful life. So there should be no fear that, oh my gosh, if this group of people have a better life, I'm going to have to give something up. No. We show up, we breathe and get ourselves balanced. We give the opportunity for someone to speak and we listen fully. And then we pray, 5-step treatment. God is all there is. I am one with God. I know. I am grateful. And I release and let it go. And lastly, we learn. We take this time, this COVID time when we're not out frolicking with bunches of people. Take this time to learn and really see and learn about racism, learn about our history of our country. And not only coming from our history books, but learn our history from our human race, because everyone has a different view on our history. And take it all in and then find what works best for you. Yeah? So your call to action this week is to stay centered. Stay centered. And here at the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, know that you are seen. I see you. Know that you're heard. If you want to have somebody listen to you, call me. I'll listen. And know that you're loved and honored. It's been my pleasure to be with you today. And so it is. Amen. Whew. Okay, let's go into prayer. Let's put our feet on the floor. I know right here and right now that there's only one thing happening. This one thing, that spirit that's running through in and as me, as it is running through you, that it's always there 24/7. And I just simply ignite it this morning. I ignite it knowing that it is burning within me, calling me to be a spiritual maverick, that I am not a misfit. You are not a misfit. We are here to be an active change maker in this world. So I stand up and I use my voice because it is something that has been gifted to me by the divine. I use my body, for it too has been gifted to me by the divine. I use my ability to write and to speak, for I am called. I am the one that is being called to step into action to make the change in this world. I denounce racism. And I am one in the group, one in the army of love to flip it around and let racism go and let humanity grow. Humanity to grow in love and peace and in a world that works for everyone. I know this to be true, for when I speak my words into the law, the universe only says yes. And in this yesness, I know that the bottom of creation of everything is love and peace. And everything is moving in divine right action. I keep my eyes open, I keep my heart open, and my mind is wide open. For we are at a crossroads of a world that works for everyone. So I step in and I do my part as you step in and do your part. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Be well.
Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Love is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Healing's flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Please join me in singing our next song, Everywhere I Am is Holy Ground. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in God. Everywhere I am is holy ground. The power in the presence of pure spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, and I live in love. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power in the presence of pure spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, and I stand in peace. Everywhere I am is holy ground, power in the presence of pure spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, and I dance in joy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, the power in the presence of pure spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Thank you everyone for being with us today. Let's close with thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. This beautiful, 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 beautiful life, this beautiful, beautiful